be here.
No, you didn't.
If anybody's got questions for Katie and Micah, please raise your hands. I'm sorry, Mika, I'm sorry. We will not be playing with a Ouija board while we're here.
Guys, I just have to say I'm so distracted by this super cute dog that's right in the front row. So if I'm staring at the girl, it's because I'm obsessed with cute dogs, and this one has glasses on, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
He wins the cosplay competition.
Sure.
If anybody's got questions, raise your hand so I can see you. Just shout them out. Oh, come on.
Yeah,
All right, right here.
thank you.
I'll be the outgoing one. Is it true that you were not given a script and just a guideline to like how to act and
Yes,
discuss?
there was no script at all
In the first one.
in the first one. So the entire movie was what they call now retro scripting, which I don't think was
A thing back then.
We didn't have
We
a word for
improvised
it.
it.
It was improv. We
Yeah.
were like,
So-
yeah. Well, basically, what Oren had a bunch of note cards that were taped to the wall, and then he was like, he would move them around. He's like, I don't know which one goes where, but let's just do this one today. And he'll pull it off, and it had some information on it, like this is the thing we need to do in the scene. So I don't know. You're making dinner, and Katie tells Mika about something has happened in her childhood. So that's the scene. So then we have to make it happen, and the camera's rolling, and we do something. And usually at first something happened, but it needs to be shaped, and then we would refine and do it again and again and again. And we would do it again and again and again until we got it. And I think that's why the movie worked at the end, was because we didn't ever say, it's fine.
And we also got into a good flow. Like we would do like a scene, like with the psychic. We're talking about the psychic or something, and it would be an 11-minute scene, which might be realistic for real life, but you can't have an 11-minute scene in a 90-minute movie, right? So then we would be like, okay, that was great, let's do it again, but let's try to do it in 5 minutes, and let's try to condense it and really get to it more quickly. And then eventually we'd end up with a 2-minute scene that had all the good stuff from the 11-minute scene, but without all the like extra fat that we didn't need. And so that creative flow helped us kind of get through those scenes and create something cool. But yeah, no script, it was we just like our auditions, we just kind of like said yes and created a whole movie.
And the philosopher in me wants to comment and say, I think this applies to everything. What you want to do, like when you're creating anything, really, you want to find a place that's maximally compressed without losing anything important. I think that's really what, you could call it beauty or meaning or whatever, but when you look at something that, or maybe it's Miles Davis who said, anyone can make the simple complicated, but it takes a master to make the complicated simple. And I think he was referring to this process of taking all this stuff and compressing it down until it's like just the right size, not too small, not too big.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like that.
There you go. Boom.
Thank you for a great question.
I'll do Chips Ahoy and up here. Scoops Ahoy.
Scoops a hole.
During the audition process, did you guys work together and then they picked you, or did they say, hey, you're it, and let's go and do the first take and hope it happens?
You can actually see it online.
Yeah, our auditions are, Oren put them up on YouTube, but originally, we all did individual auditions, and so Mika and I auditioned probably on the same weekend, but separately. And then we were brought in for callbacks, and did he only bring us back for the callbacks? Or
I don't know.
were there other people? I don't know. The only person I did a callback with was Mika.
And the only people we saw after
Were us.
Yeah,
Who
I think
knows?
he just picked us, but then we went back for 2 callbacks.
Did we?
Yeah.
Was it 2?
It was 2
I
because,
don't remember one.
well, what he said was, he was like, you guys are, first of all, when I get in the room, he's like, Katie, this is Mika, this is Katie, tell us how you met.
And we just looked at each other and we just started
Went
telling
into
the
the story about how we met.
We yes-anded it.
Beautiful, romantic story about,
We were in Europe.
Yeah.
None of it's true.
And-
But it was really true to us in the moment.
still true. I reminisce fondly. Anyway, he said, he's like, we came back for a second callback, so I figured that there were tons of other couples and he wanted to pick. And he said, no, I only called you back and I did it twice because I wanted to make sure you could do it again. Like it wasn't just a one-time thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you, Oren, for that.
They
And,
were fun. They were fun auditions and really fun callbacks. And I remember leaving the callback, and it was either the audition or the callback. I can't remember, but I remember leaving and calling my mom. I was like a 23-year-old actress that had just moved to Los Angeles, and I remember calling my mom, who was back in Texas, and saying, "I don't know if I'm gonna get this job, but something is different. Something has changed. So if it's not this, it's gonna be something else. But it feels different. Like something, I can feel it." And then I got the job, and here we are. So
and the
there was something special in the room.
philosopher in me wants to comment. I think there's a general thing here that Katie was describing, which is called, in ancient Greek, there's different kinds of time. And kairos is one of the kinds of time, and it means the like to find the right moment. If you guys like have moments of synchronicity or some sort of magic, this is kairos. It's like a sensitivity to the flow of life, and I think that's part of what was going on here. So, yeah, just throwing it out there. Sorry, I think I'm.
The philosopher in him is probably going to have a lot of thoughts today. They're always good thoughts.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Wisdom.
We had one up front here.
Hi.
So, what would you consider the hardest scene to film? Because there's a lot of like physical and mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
moments.
Yeah.
I have an answer for that. I'm not going to say.
I know your answer. Go for it.
My answer is the night that we filmed like 3 of the big scenes in the film all in one night. If I remember correctly, we filmed the dragging down the hall, the footprints,
Yes.
and some attic stuff all in the same night. Right?
No, close.
Close.
The
Correct,
attic
I
stuff
remember.
we started to film, and
But
then
then
we
we-
had an incident.
A laughing riot. So keep in mind,
We're not talking about that part.
I mean, it's never as funny to anyone else.
Okay.
But it's, so we were filming, I mean, all these big things, the dragging down the hall, the footprints, and it's all stuff that, we're doing practically, so there's no one.
Probably a good chunk, like 20 minutes of the movie is just like one night,
Yeah.
one long shoot.
And until like 3 a.m, where we are just like punch drunk and exhausted and giggling and laughing, and then we had to stop filming because we were all just laughing so much because we were so tired.
Well, Oren made a very tasteless joke,
He did.
and it sort of let the air out of the room, and we were done.
And then it was like, we gotta go to bed, we'll start again tomorrow. But that was, I would say, if I have to pick a specific scene, the dragging down the hall.
Yeah, so a couple of finer details. The powder scene, because we had such a tight shoot. Oren goes, "You were gonna do the scene with the powder, but I don't have time to clean this up and reset it, so you have one shot. Go." And we're like, "What?" Because we're improvising, and so now we have to improv perfectly the one thing, and so that was
We got it.
interesting. We did. And what's also interesting, the philosopher in me said, there's something about when you have a container of time, whatever that time is, and you never notice how whatever, like if you have a lot of time, you might procrastinate and then get it all done. If you have a short time, you get it all done. It seems like people, whatever your container is, will figure out how to do it in that time. And this really came up for us, I think. And one of the hardest things about that night is Katie got dragged out of bed over and over and over because we had a rope tied to her foot. And if you look at the bedroom, the stairs are right outside the door. So every time she gets dragged, she's going right down the stairs. But we couldn't drag her down the stairs. Katie wanted to get dragged.
I was game, y'all.
Katie was like, dude, and Oren's like, I don't know, my insurance is gonna cover that. So he rigged up this contraption to go around the stairs down the hall, but he'd only get it to work once. And she had black and blue bruises all up and down her legs.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the hardest thing.
Yeah. It was great. It was a good shoot.
Up here, and up here.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hi.
I have a quick question. As actors, at any point while you're filming, while you're doing the film, did you think, oh wow, this is something special, this is gonna be huge? Or were you like, this is just a regular payday, you're just waiting for yourself to get to the next thing? Like at any point did you think this is different, this is gonna be big? And my second half is, have you ever done a project where you're like, this is gonna be huge, and it didn't turn out that way?
So we did, I'll speak for myself. When we were filming, I did think this is special because we were so invested in making something that we were proud of, and it felt special to us. I don't think any of us ever assumed or thought it was gonna become a franchise or even get to theaters. It wasn't even something we thought about. It was just like we were so present in the moment that everything that has come after so many years later, even to right now, is like such icing on the cake. So, you know, yes, it was special, but no, we couldn't have imagined. And then what was your second part? Oh, is there another thing? No. Like, this franchise is the biggest thing that I've done, and it's been a crazy, wild ride, you know? So I have a hard time having, like, expectations. I just sort of have no expectations. Like, I'm just trying to be present in the moment in all things that I do. And I think that if you're in Hollywood, that's a really healthy way to be.
My take would be similar to Katie's in that we were definitely aware that we had to, in order for the movie to succeed, we had to create a quality level that was equivalent to a $100 million or $200 million movie in terms of, not of the effects or something like that, but in terms of its meaning. Like, why would you watch this? Like, that was the bar. And that's why we kept working the scenes until we felt like we were there. And I think it's a trap in general to think about, is this going to succeed and make success a bar? Because you don't have control over that. And also that creates like a kind of almost a pandering relationship or like a commercial relationship where you're like, well, what does the audience want? And how do I give it to them so that I can succeed? I think that's a Hollywood trap that kills projects. I think that if you're doing that, you're already dead in the water. I think what makes a movie good is that you intentionally don't do that and you instead focus entirely on the quality and like, what are you doing and how do I make this thing that I'm doing as good as possible? And then you leave that success as like a byproduct of doing what you love with all of your heart and your intention. And if you look at any movie that has ever succeeded, I think you find these passion projects where people, like, you know, Star Wars or something, George Lucas just wanted to make this thing work. He wasn't like, how do I become famous? He was like, how do I tell my story? And I think that is the core of every real, every franchise at the root has that. And then what comes later a lot of times is these sequels where they take the trappings, they take like the face of the movie, but it's almost like wearing a skin suit where it doesn't have the core of what made it work. It doesn't have the meaning. It just has like like if you look at the later Indiana Jones films, it has Indiana Jones, but they forgot the story structure of why Indiana Jones works, and they just used like the picture. Does this make sense? And that turns into like this recycled cliche stuff, which is not what people want to see. That's not what people watched in the first place. And that's what Disney's struggling with this a lot in all of the different, I'm getting all like film critic now, but I think it applies to art in general. And really sticking with what matters to you is the way to avoid that.
Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Yeah. Yeah.